Who's hey, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody? We back.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Troy.
It's your boy Sean.
Hey, we tapped in once
Tap-
again.
We tapped in, man. We tapped in.
Yes,
Some
sir.
of us the tap.
Oh man, sir, let's talk about it.
Ah, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Hey, man, listen. It was an exciting weekend of NFL football, man. We made some predictions last week. We chopped it up, talked about, what we thought was going to happen. And it didn't work out the way I thought it would, but
It didn't work out the way everybody thought it would. You know what I mean?
I kind of figured,
Yeah. Man, that was that come to sports. Most of the time, I've been a player, fan. You know what I mean? Player fan. So I'll follow a player.
man.
So like my real first team that I followed went to a bunch of games was the Sixers
Okay.
when AI was there.
Right.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
I traveled 2 hours, 1 or 2 times a week. You know what I mean? To go see them, had season tickets and stuff, watch them in the playoffs. But like they was good, but you ain't think they would win. Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
it didn't give you that level of expectation.
That expectation never would.
Right.
These Ravens, man, I thought we was knocking on the door, man. I thought we was ready to bust that thing open and turnovers, man.
Man, I'm
Turnovers.
it, turnovers, man. I feel sorry for Lamar, and I'm gonna say this as an Eagles fan. I like the Ravens, because I like them as a team unit. I like what Lamar and them's doing over there. It's unfortunate for him because he has so many personal accolades, and you go bring in Henry like this. If you're gonna do it, this would be the year to do
Right.
it. But it's just a disconnect somewhere, and But I'm not gonna ride y'all too hard because Ravens don't have obnoxious fans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nah.
so
we cordial, we respect.
yeah, I can respect it, man. But personally, though, I really did feel for the team as a whole because
Right.
I wanted that Derrick Henry. Even though he's running like a monster, he's on the back end of his
Right.
career.
Right. And nothing says he's gonna be able to stay healthy like he did this
Right.
year, next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can't see. I don't see why anybody that's on that team right now would want to leave.
Yeah.
With you know what I mean? Like if you say, okay, well, if we can add a couple pieces, maybe in our secondary, maybe beef up our run defense a little bit.
Hmm.
But like on the offensive side of the ball, like we could. I just feel like we could potentially run it back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But running it back, you assume everybody gonna be healthy, and in football, you just can't assume.
Right. Right.
You
It can
can't
look
assume.
totally different next year.
Right.
But speaking of running backs and running it back, say Sean Barkley.
Yeah.
Hey man, listen. When him they had that little private conversation, and he handed that thing off, man. It's like before he even took 2 steps, Hurst already had his hand up in the air, touchdown. Like he knew, they seen it.
Did you see the interview of that? When they asked him what he said?
That when they which one?
When they asked,
Yeah, when he was lined up on the wrong side.
yeah, which is crazy, man. Like, yeah, which when you look at the play,
Mm-hmm.
you realize like that that initial cut that he made to look like he was going in that one gap
Uh-huh.
is what set that whole thing up.
Oh yeah, because
He knew he was supposed to be going through that gap over there, but when he got the handoff, he faked like he was going into the inside gap and then bounce it out, and it was already set up that way. Well, I guess they probably knew that he was on the wrong side. It was like, look, he know what he's doing back
let him
there.
do what he
Let him do
do.
what he
Man,
do,
he's
man.
genius, man. Yeah, great game, man. We on to the next, man. And listen, you gotta make the predictions. You gotta put them out there, man. Listen,
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I personally,
mhm.
all my years of watching NFL football, I have never seen a rookie play with Jaden Daniels.
No, big ups to him. He's crushing all types of.
Yeah.
Big up, he do. It takes teams defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna hurt them.
Uh-huh.
And just defense together. They haven't played our defense. So
They played y'all.
well, they played us with a hurt quarterback, backup quarterback came in, that type thing.
I mean, they did get a
Did
win.
wrong there, yeah. But when we was healthy, we made them look pretty bad the first time.
Okay.
So I listen.
So prediction. What's your prediction? Give me some predictions.
Yeah, Easy 2 score game for us. About two,
Mm,
at least 2 scores.
2 scores.
Yeah.
Um, just because, man, it is the playoffs. Jaden's played so well. I think he's bound to make, and I hope he don't. But I think he's probably gonna make some mistakes that could end up being costly for him,
Yeah.
right? Because
It's
he
his
hasn't
first
been at,
time around.
yeah, because he haven't been to that place before. Even though everything that I've seen and the way he handled himself on the field tells me otherwise, I just think like there's gonna be a point in time where the Eagles defensive coordinator is gonna do something that's gonna confuse him,
Hmm.
and he's gonna make the wrong play at the wrong time, and I think that might end up costing him. So I'm not gonna say a 2 score game. I'm gonna say y'all win by 6, by 6.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think they might have the ball in their hand with a chance to win.
Huh?
And I think y'all might pull it out.
Defense. Well, as
I
long as
think
we leave it
defense
on
is
our
the problem.
defense, I'm good. Leave it on our defense. But I don't want a close game, man, because I don't want Daniels with the ball. But he has to have a chink in his armor because that young man is man. He looks invincible right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So
So
what we got a game going on next week. Who you got with that?
it's always scary, man. When Mahomes is out there, man. I wanted him out early
Yeah.
because anytime he shows up, it's a possibility that he's going to calls.
Oh yeah. Just
I'm
like
one of
last week.
them. Yeah.
Last week when they played the Texans, man, there's 2 calls that should not have been called.
But in y'all defense, I watched Lamar get hit
Outside
5
of
yards
bounds.
outside of bounds, and they don't say nothing. You can't even touch Mahomes in bounds.
Right.
So yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
I'm gonna since you skated all around that and you didn't give me no prediction. I'm gonna give you mine. First.
Okay. I kind of told you, but
I'm going with Bills Mafia, man. I'm going with Bills, man. I think, man, the '90s did them dirty. It's time for some get back. It's time for some get back, man. No better way to get back than and I mean, it hasn't been easy. So I thought it was our year to go through the trenches to get to that place.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it might be the Bills because they haven't had an easy road either.
I can see it. I can see it.
And I think and I don't think the moment is too big for Josh Allen. So in this case, I feel like you got 2 quarterbacks.
Hmm.
If the game's on the line and they got to drive down the field, both of them can do it.
Yeah.
And I just think that Josh Allen gonna have the ball in his hand to make a play, and he's gonna do it. Bills by 7.
I'm gonna take. I would love to see the Bills do it, but I'm gonna take Mahomes. I'm gonna take Kansas City, and it's gonna be a great Super Bowl rematch, man. So all
right,
with that, we'll get our get back.
Okay, all right. You might get a lot of backlash for that pick.
Yeah.
But speaking of backlashes, man, what you think about Snoop and Nelly, man, performing at the inauguration? Man? What's your take,
Man, listen, them brothers, man, they done paid their debts to society, man. They done, been pillars, man. That they community based. Outside of what you do for your community, you still have a profession. You still have a job.
man?
I feel like them guys, man, did their job, man. It was a bag to go get. Because they're not the only ones that was in attendance, man. You gotta look at the whole crowd, man. Think was everybody gonna get? We just disowning our own,
Right.
Because they did something contrary to what we would have done. Me personally,
Mhm.
nobody knows me. That would be my opportunity known. Yeah, definitely do it for to go get paid. Because sometimes you gotta look out for you,
Right.
and your situation.
So
And
what
we
if
don't
you
know
get
where
paid
to
though?
It's the doors.
So
Now,
what if they didn't get paid for going there, man?
and then it's a whole different scenario.
Mhm.
It's a whole different scenario. You think, look at Nelly, man. Nelly is still promoting his old music. He don't make new music. He's trying to stay relevant. What
Right.
other way to stay relevant than to be out there? I mean, we don't know who's inviting him. What are we inviting him to?
Right.
I mean, I'm keeping it a book. Like, what are we inviting him to?
Right. Okay. All right. I see you on that. I guess the only reason it looked really so with Nelly, I listened to his his reasoning. You know what I mean? I'm like you. He should have just been like, hey, the opportunity was there, the bag was good. The woman perform, I'm gonna perform.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean? Just had a baby, got another one on the way, I think. And and he looking out for his family.
Yeah.
Right? I think what make it hard for other people is the fact that when Trump won the first election, he was talking about which one of you jigaboos is gonna go and sing.
Years later, he pointed it out though. What kind of backlash did he get from that though? This might have been
When
a
the
way
first
to
time,
right a wrong for him saying that. We don't know what doors closed for him, even though it looks like he's been really active.
I
And out
was
there.
saying, ain't no
The
door
Olympics, he
closed.
said, yeah. But we don't know what those contractual obligations opened up them for this year.
Right.
Okay, you do this, I might promise you this, this, and this later on.
Right.
I think it's a security thing, a security reason that did it.
So man. I mean, I don't know how many people watching this now. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna give it a controversial take,
All right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times you figure we want things to happen in our community, right? But most times we just trying to do it within our community, or we're trying to do it with just the party that we associated with, right? And you can't take. And I'm not saying this for them, but I'm just saying this for anybody who looking at this, that you can't take the next 4 years off. Like what's happened is what's happened, right?
Come on, that's it.
And if you're not there in the room and put yourself in a position to have a voice when decisions are getting made, you're gonna get railroaded, which is what has been done to us time and time again in the past because we want to stay over here. We want to stay separate from over here.
It's the adage, man. Keep your friends. We say keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Right, but you think about the other people that was there. Mark Zuckerberg, 8 years ago, took Trump off Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Deactivated his accounts, and we're not gonna have that kind of stuff on here. And now he at the inauguration, sitting front row peeking.
Right.
You ain't see that, did you?
No, I didn't say was he peeking.
So Jeff Bezos' fiance or wife, I guess it is now, she had on like a pantsuit, low cut with like the bustier thing. Man, they called him. They called him peeking, man. Peeking. But I mean, like he there, and then you think of he there, Jeff Bezos there, Tim Cook from Apple's there, Sundar from Google's there, Sam Altman from OpenAI is there. Like all these guys don't. Obviously, Elon Musk, but at some point in time, these guys didn't agree with Trump's political views.
Right.
But they know if they're not there, it's going to impact them negatively in their company and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. So they're there because they understand that unfortunately it's a game that has to be played.
Has to be played.
Right. It has to be played. So, for us in our community, I think we need to think, you have to think beyond what's happening right now and say, okay, well, where do we want to be? And if you're not allowing yourself or you're not allowing the people who want to represent you be in the spaces that they can actually speak up for you, and be a voice in the room with you, or even just be a door opener for you, then what are we doing? What I mean? Because if we don't do anything now we're 8 years behind, right? So now we got to put ourselves in a position to always be. I'm not saying, I'm not saying you coon or you be who you are, but you go in there with the purpose of, hey, I'm just trying to be a voice at the table. I want to hear what y'all talking about, so that way I can let my people know what's going on.
Well, it's no different, man. I'm gonna keep it all the way buck, and I'm gonna break it all the way down, man. It's no difference than people with 9 to 5 get off work, talk grimy about their job, can't stand the job, but you show up to the Christmas party because you want the bonus when the bonus
Right.
come up. I mean, you still have to, like you said, you still got to show up. You still got to play your part. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not going." Just because that don't mean I'm in alignment with it. I mean, this is my livelihood,
Right.
and I got to be here until I'm ready to go.
Right. Until I find something
Until
better.
I find something better. And like you said earlier, what doors can this open up for me just by showing up and being in this room? I mean, without a performance, do they get that far in the room? Do you get to shake hands and rub shoulders? So,
Right.
and we our community, us, do we have an opinion? Yes. Should our opinion always be publicized?
No.
No,
Right.
because as a collective, it makes us look bad. You know what I mean? If we always going against, like we're worried about that, and now more is going, and we'll spend the next 2 or 3 days talking about all they sellouts.
Right.
You know, we gotta do better.
Right. Right. For sure. For sure. So, I mean, and if you tuned in right now, or even if you're watching this later, hey, let us know what you think in the comments. We want to hear from y'all. I mean, it's just our opinions. Who are we? You know what I mean? We're just two guys on YouTube and Facebook, just chopping it up and inviting you into our conversation. But we also want to hear from you guys what you want us to talk about. As always, on Instagram earlier this week, man, where a black real estate developer in Ohio bought lived in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and had, from the way it sounds like, the nicest house there.
Mm.
So he comes home. He's coming home from work, and he said they just put Christmas tree lights up, and or Christmas lights up on the house. So he was riding slow, and he said he was kind of admiring the Christmas lights that they put up, just checking them out.
Right.
He said, so this lady pulls up into the driveway, and so he pulls up and is like, "Hey, are you looking for somebody?" And she was like, "No." She's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, he said he didn't say anything. And so she gets out of the car and walks up to the step, and she got 2 young kids with her.
Uh-huh.
And so she's ringing the doorbell, and like he gets out of the truck. She jumps off of his front step with the kids, and starts yelling for help. At his house,
somewhere where you're not supposed to be at.
right? And she was like, "Well, let me go back." He gets out of the truck, and she says, "What are you doing? Who are you? You live here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." She's like, "I don't believe you."
Good job.
Like,
wow.
I mean,
I got to prove to you that this is my house.
That this is my house that you standing on. You stand on
while you trespassing.
While you ringing my door.
While you trespassing, I got to explain to you that this is my
and
house.
then she jumps off of his step, yells help, runs around the house. It's a neighborhood, so she runs, down the sidewalk, yelling for help, calls the police. He goes in the house. Like when he leaves, he's like, "Yo, I don't know what's gonna jump off." I did a little bit of research. Guy had been to jail before, right? And so he worried about police showing up to his house and asking a whole bunch of questions. The other thing he said he was thinking about is like, look, I mean, I don't know who this lady is. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like, I'm at my house. She asking me, who am I? And she don't believe I stay here. He said, so he pulled into the garage, put the garage door down, went in the house. The lady's husband comes back. Then she says, and then the lady comes back. The wife comes outside. He stays in the house. He hears the conversation, and she was like, I'm sorry, man. It's a guy following me in a silver pickup truck, and I came up here because I was afraid, and I was just ringing the doorbell because I wanted him to think that I was coming home. And she was like, "Yeah, that's my husband." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I hope you don't." I forgot what she said. Like, I hope you understand my point of view.
No, absolutely not, man. See, and that's the issue, man. See, you done push the button on man. I'm gonna calm down because in most of these situations, if you so concerned about the safety, you put yourself in these predicaments, and then you still want to go back and forth. If I got 2 kids and I'm scared, you're out. Let me get in my vehicle and pull off.
Right. Why did you get out of your vehicle?
Why do you get out? So you're looking for a problem, and but then when you get a problem, oh, I don't know why. Like you instigating all of this for no reason.
But it's crazy how, because he was saying he let his wife handle it,
Uh-huh.
because he said all these, he said he goes into the house, tells his wife what's going on, and she's listening to him. She's like, huh? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? But she also think he's lying.
Right, because it's too much.
Yeah, she's like, this is our house. What, like, why am I questioning you whether this is our house or not? And you coming in the garage and they standing on the step. And so she's like, she's just kind of sitting there in disbelief. And then she hears the doorbell ring again and goes outside. And now she's confronted by this. And this whole time she's thinking like, okay, well, how does this look if the cops pull up right now?
Right.
Whose house? If she don't think it's my house, whose house is the cop gonna think it is? And whose side are they gonna be on? And what if this lady had a concealed carry?
Right. And with no excuse and find a way to justify at my own house.
Right.
But my thing is, if you belong here, how come you don't know who all live in here? Right. You know what I mean? So are you just passing through? Because my neighbors know me.
Right.
The people, you know what I mean? They know.
And that's what he said. He said the house is all at the end of the neighborhood in the cul-de-sac, like almost the nicest lot that's there.
Yeah.
While he was building he built the house, subcontracted it himself.
Yeah.
He said while he was building the house, he stayed in the house at the beginning of the development and would walk back there every day.
Every day. So yeah. So where you been at? What you been doing? Why do you pick now?
Right. So like I guess the moral of the story is we spend so much time working hard to put ourselves in positions where places that we dream of being. But it's almost like if I don't see you on TV or I don't hear you on the radio, what are you doing here?
Man, what did Jay say, man? I don't do too much quoting Jay. Like, what was it? Was it OJ? The song OJ?
Uh-huh.
No, was it that one? No, it's one of them. But he say, no matter if you got a coupe or whatever, you still just him in the coupe.
Yeah.
That's it. So no matter what levels we get to,
somebody's still gonna look
at you. They just looking at you and saying you just that's it.
Yeah.
And more accomplished. And you know, a lot of these situations more educated in a lot of these cases, but you're just looking at the outward appearance and quick. The burden of proof would have to be on him. He's all the way in the right.
Yeah, but he has to prove.
He has to prove that. And some people, like me personally, just because I know my temper and the things how I react, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna go jump through some of those hoops because I'm a non-confrontational type of person. Because when I go, I go. But it's some people who is going to stand on, don't come question me at my own house. I don't have to show you them, and they're 100% right to take that approach. But it could end bad for them, man.
Right. And that's
not right.
And this is, I mean, you think about it, man. This is 2025, man, and you work hard to get, and so now I guess the thing that made me think about it is, okay, I'm listening to this guy tell the story, and he's like, I stayed in the house because I didn't want to be outside when the police showed up. Obviously, she's profiled me. I look a certain way. I'm in this nice neighborhood. I'm in this nice house. When the police show up, they're going to be wondering who. She could very well say, and this is hypothetical. Like, listen to him talk. She could very well say, when the police pulled up, "Oh, this is my house."
Oh yeah.
And the police probably would have believed it.
Explain it from down.
He don't know what's going to happen, and based off the visuals that whatever cop shows up sees. Let's just face it. I mean, they're going to profile that particular situation, and when they pull up, they're going to have a certain picture, a certain thing in mind of who stays in this house, who's supposed to be here, who's not supposed to be here before anybody says a word.
That, it's funny you say that, man. I always think back when we talking. I think back to certain scenarios. So I remember when my early years and when I first started selling real estate. Had a client and cool brother, man, and you know, we had two different skin tones, and so I take him to a property, and we're going to meet somebody. They didn't live there, but they was going to open up the property. So I take him, goes probably standing outside, and I'm sure it probably happened to you plenty of times. Standing outside, property owner pulls up, so has some, I guess he had letters in and everything. Shook my hand as the client, as a, and dismissed me and started talking to my client as if he was the real estate agent. And I let him talk for a little bit, and I, introduced myself. Said, "Okay, now let me ask you some questions so we can take my client out." But just right off the rip,
Right.
that's how
The profile.
that profile. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna move on. But another thing that's concerning is because he had a prior record, he felt even on and did my time, came out and created a great life for myself. He still has to bear the stain of his record. And let's say if he's in 100% right and this situation goes south, they're going to use that record to justify anything that happens to him, even if they're wrong. Because he was before when they put it out. Oh yeah, he has felony charge, something that is totally unrelated to the story. But wait, man, we're not even going down that road. It's
I'm sorry for bringing.
Yeah, man. Listen, because I can go on that one.
But I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because I mean, like for the people that's watching this, I mean, this is the stuff. I mean, this is our lives, right? You know, what I mean that, and I guess it stuck out to me because I know the life that I try to live, strive for, and provide for my family, and that's been a conversation that's been in my household. About the next place that where we live at now and where we want to move to. It's some places, regardless of how you get there are times where you feel like somebody's looking at you like, what you do, what are you doing here, right? And that gives you a sense of uncomfortability. You know what I mean? And so that was really what I wanted to wrap it up on is now that all of this stuff has happened, how does his wife, I think he has 2 kids. He had a 17-year-old son who hadn't gotten home yet. And he's got a younger son, maybe 10 or 11, right? How do they feel now? Like, you can't feel that welcome in a community when something like that happens. Or even if you did, you don't feel as welcome. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, well, I deserve to be here just as much as you do. Why is this happening to me? Right?
2025.
2025. Yeah, so I guess on a it's not even a lighter subject, but a different topic. What does that look like to you today, and what place does it have in a marriage today?
Submissiveness is huge. It's a huge place in marriage. Yesterday, today, and in the future, it's always going to be huge. Now, submissive. Do I think submissive is geared toward one spouse more than the other? No. I think both. It requires submissiveness from me, the husband, and submissiveness from my wife as well. But I think it's very important because when you when somebody's effective, and I think we talked about this before, when they're effective in leadership, and when you're in a household that's functioning as adults like you're supposed to, then people's gonna have strengths and weaknesses. My wife's gonna have some strengths, I'm gonna have some strengths, and I'm gonna be able to lead in areas where I'm supposed to lead. I expect her to submit because if I'm leading in the right way. But it's times where she has to take the reins on some things, and I have to submit to her. And submissive means say, okay, you got the game plan. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna follow suit with you. Now, I don't know if that's answering your question or that submissive is that the
So it came from, you know, it was actually coming from a woman. You know, she was saying that it's hard. It was hard for her to be submissive in a relationship, um, because of kind of traditionally how submissiveness has been taught, right?
Mm,
Submissiveness, in most cases, it comes from a place of I'm a man, you're a woman, and this is what we believe. This is, we believe in the Bible, and that's what it says in the Bible, right?
hmm.
But it's it's more it's more than that, right? Because there's certain criteria that go along with
Hmm.
that leadership and that submissiveness, right? And so I would say it's important. I think both parties need to be submissive to to a point. But I do think in a marriage, it is up to the husband to lead, right? To lead the family, right? It,
Absolutely.
it falls on his shoulders. But he has to show that he can lead.
Oh yeah, no
Like
doubt.
he has to be proven that he can lead. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? If he keeps setting you up for failure, or putting your family in a bad situation, or not making good decisions,
Hmm.
or spending all the money, or being, doing things that don't give you the trust, that don't doesn't give a woman a sense of trust in him, then he doesn't deserve
Right, right,
right?
right.
He has to show it. He has to show that quality. He has to show that he's going to show up on a day-to-day basis. He's going to show that he can be held accountable if he makes a mistake. Hey, honey, I made a mistake in this one.
That's
I'm
the
gonna get right.
big one. If you get a woman and a household, I mean, a family altogether that's willing to submit,
Mhm.
then you, as the man, I mean, goes whichever way it's going to go. And if it, let's say, if everything fall down on your watch, you have to stand up and say it was me, because that means I put us in this situation. I'm lady. We can't say, oh, this woman, or oh, you didn't do this, or the kids didn't do it, because
Is that on you?
it comes down on
Yep.
you, especially if you're the leader and you want submission.
Right.
But also, being a good leader is knowing how to delegate and knowing how to see, your strengths and your weaknesses. Because time management may not be my best thing. So I might say,
Right.
hey, babe, look at this tomorrow. We try, we need to do this and this. And she might have to put the schedule together because
That she does that
she
well.
does it well.
Right. And we talking, but I don't know who's gonna be watching this at some point in time. Like fellas, like it's like you allowing your spouse to be great at what they're great at does not make you any less of a man. Actually makes you a better leader. That
Exactly.
any book, anything that you can read, when you allow people to flourish in their God-given talents and abilities, and then you encourage them and you show that you believe in them and you agree with that decision or that thing that they're doing, that shows them that you value them,
Hmm.
and that's a quality of a leader, right?
That's it.
And a lot of times, people say, "Well, I'm gonna lead in my marriage or whatever." Leading in the marriage sometimes is you saying, "You know what, honey, you're right. That's what we're gonna do."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We doing what you say. We doing what you say we should do because that's the right thing to do. I didn't come up with that, but I have the wisdom and discernment to say, okay, that's a much better idea
Exactly.
than what I had.
And also, leading and submissiveness doesn't always have to be something where it's a iron fist you put in eyes. Because and from what I've watched growing up, some of the strongest men I know was the most laid back, quiet. They hit you with some one liners, but those one liners were heavy. You know what I mean?
Right,
He might
right,
say something and change the trajectory of the whole conversation and the whole mood, and then fall back. You know what I
right.
mean? Or just their presence. I've seen some women leaders. I'm talking about pastors and everything. Have some strong husbands in the back, but when the rubber meet the road, they always looking to them for
Yeah,
guidance.
yeah.
And even though I'm out front, and some would perceive me to be the leader,
Mhm. I
the
know who. Yeah,
that
yeah,
and that's been able to both submit.
right. And I would tell you, man, like I I believe I don't care how strong or dominant any man thinks a woman is. I think all women, if you really peel back all the layers, do want to be ready.
You want to be,
Yeah,
yeah,
they want to,
but are afraid to in a lot of situations.
and sometimes they got every right to feel that way because they put trust in people that they probably shouldn't have put
Hmm.
trust into, right? And so as you know, this is just something for you men out there. And if you women, if you get some jewels out of this that you feel like you can share, please do. But
No doubt.
we don't want guys to be going down the wrong path of what leadership looks like in a marriage and what success looks like in a marriage. And you have to be confident in who and what you are. You know what I mean? And what you bring to the table.
No doubt.
And honestly, putting God first is number one on
That's
the
it.
list.
How it says, say, follow me as I follow Christ.
Right,
So as long as I'm lined up, you know what I mean,
right,
then that could be a hierarchy to things.
right.
But once I get out of line, now I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do. Now you still gotta keep following the man. You know what I mean? You gotta keep, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, but man, we have to step up, and sometimes we step out of line and we fumble,
hmm
and we have to be okay knowing that okay, it's gonna take me some time to get back to a place where I'm trusted because I got married young.
right.
You know, I can speak for my own self. I got married young. There's some things that I had to learn along the way, and it's a learning process. So, you know, mess up, fall back, man. We might have to start over, make the right decision. Got hot headed, quit my job. Wasn't supposed to be quitting at this time. You know what I mean? Things like that.
And see, look, perfect example, right? When you lead, what I mean, you lead it and you made that decision. And it's like, okay, now you got to eat. Now you got to come back and you got to eat that.
I gotta eat it.
You know what I mean? And be like, look, I didn't made a mistake.
And now I have to build back trust for my family to feel secure again because I went and did something off of emotion that hurt us.
Right.
And over time, I've known, okay, now I can't react that way, but I understood that it's going to take some time to build this back up. And I think a lot of guys want just to be excuse it away. Oh man, I messed up. Or they repoed the car. So what, man? You know,
Right.
nah, that's not leading.
Right. No.
And nobody's going to submit to that.
Right.
I wouldn't want my daughter submitting to something. You know that.
Yeah. Well, you're not taking accountability.
That's it.
You're not accountable for your actions. I mean, and that's just part of being a man. I mean, like really I mean, it's just like in a business, man.
Mhm.
It don't go past the owner. You know what I mean? If he can't take responsibility, regardless of what happened down the chain of command,
That's it.
it stopped with him.
Can't pass the buck. No,
You
there's
know what I
nowhere
mean?
to pass it to.
Why did this happen? Why did this fail? Because my fault.
That's it.
It's something I wasn't paying attention to, or I wasn't being diligent enough in. It's my responsibility to make it right.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean? And so, I mean, that's how you should look. That's, you know what I mean? These are just some gems, you know what I mean, for you to be able to evaluate your relationships where you are and see the places where you can grow. We both,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and me on a daily basis, I try to evaluate my life and my decisions and make sure that I'm doing the right things. Do I do the right things all the time? No. Um, but part of man is owning up to that and correcting your errors.
And growing and growing. You know, as a man, you just want to be able to look back and see your growth. And I think growth leads to success. You know, and just looking at a lot of the young fellas now, and I'm looking. I mean, I see a lot of drive. I see a lot of some motivation in them, but I see something that's like I don't know, killing motivation, killing the success
hmm
of the young men. And I
hmm
was thinking and I was reading some things and I was wondering, man, do you feel like sex itself, like sex, is that like a killer? I think I was watching something, I was listening to 50. 50 was talking and he was saying how he was abstinent for the last 10 years. I don't know, how true or so that is, whatnot.
That
Coming
sounds
from
good.
50, it
That
sounds
sounds
good.
good.
But he said that was a major contributor to his success and being able to focus.
hmm
And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, can getting in so many entanglements be harmful to your success? Can it stunt your growth as a young man?
I think so. I believe so. So, but I think it's two sides to it. right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're young and let's just say you graduated college and you trying to, or you didn't go to college but you're out of high school and you're working in your career, or in college you just finished and you're working in your career and you're trying to make strides up that corporate ladder, or you're trying to grow your own personal business and your own personal brand, right?
Uh-huh.
It takes a lot of time and commitment and effort,
Right.
and you have to be hyper focused in order to be able to do those things. When you start to when you have when you're trying to date multiple women, you have multiple conversations with women, you spending time with multiple women, that becomes a distraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the times where you should be locked in and trying to perfect your craft and grow your brand, or just be diligent in your work and learn it and do the things that you need to in order to be successful. You're now being distracted by these other conversations, because a lot of times if I'm not gonna say a lot of times, but if you have multiple people that you're talking to, all of it ain't sweet all of the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's issues that are coming up that what I mean, that you're dealing with emotionally, that can sidetrack you, get you
Mm-hmm.
off track. There's the commitment of time that these people want. They want, and instead of you being at work, they want you there with them, or
Mm-hmm.
they want to get flown out somewhere,
Right.
somewhere. They
Right.
want to go on a
Oh
vacation.
yeah, it's
You know what I
money.
mean? So it's a demand on your time and your attention,
Mm-hmm.
and so that can distract you from the actual goals that you want. Now, like like with 50, that was more the distraction. Was that he's successful and women are just throwing themselves at him, and
Uh-huh.
you can get overindulged in that, which will take away from your focus on building the empire that he's trying to build.
Uh-huh.
The time and energy that you should be focusing on this, you're spending over here. But then the flip side to it is, if you found a person that you can lock in with
Mm-hmm.
and that you can grow with, it allows you, I believe, to even focus even more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because now there are certain things that are going on in your life that now you don't even have to worry about. They
Right.
taking care of it for you because they in it with you for the long haul.
But some
You know what I
young
mean?
men would say that's some young people that I talk to that's striving to, make moves. They say that that relationship
Hmm.
is more of a hindrance because it's somebody, another person that you have to consider in your day to day. So they think it's benefits to just smashing and dashing. Say, hey, I don't have to call you tonight. We don't have to go out this weekend. We can just hook up
Hmm.
and I can get back to focus, take care of my immediate need,
Hmm.
and get back to focusing. Now, on the spiritual realm, we know, when you want to talk about soul ties and things like that,
Hmm.
then you run the danger of taking on whatever
Issues they have.
attribute
Hmm.
or issue that person has. Because once you connect with them,
You
now,
can, yeah.
yeah, so where you normally a happy, bubbly person, now you're depressed and you can't seem to focus because you done picked up
Something from somebody else.
something for somebody else. So I said it's dangerous to it.
It is, and it's about what success. So we talked about this a couple episodes back about what success looks like to you, right?
Uh huh.
And so some people, they want to be that top 1% in the world, right? They want that ultra wealth. They want to be worth $50+ million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so their pursuit of that is that's their main focus. That's what they feel like is going to make them happy. You get that, but there's a lack of balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're getting all of the money and maybe all of the accolades that you want, but there's still this side of you that's starving, that needs that affection, that needs that love, and somebody to be able to share it with.
Right.
And then when you get to that, and so he like somebody like he would say, okay, well, I'll take that, but I'll take that as long as I get to the place that I want to, and then I'll figure it out. Then I'll find somebody. Well,
Mm.
then the flip side to that is, you never at that point in time, you don't know if anybody ever wants you for your money or if they want you because of who you
Right. Because
actually
you've
are,
already built it.
because you've already built that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that takes a different type of it takes a different type of person because I honestly think you have to make that decision to know when you get there that you're certainly probably not going to be married for love. It's going to be more that transactional thing that we talk
I
about.
think
And
most
if that's what
wealthy
you want,
men already have that expectation.
right?
So
So
you care for me, but you care about
this money,
what I'm bringing. Yeah,
right?
I mean, and I think they go in that with that expectation.
Right. And I think for young men, it's good. I think it's a good idea for you to really evaluate what that success picture looks like for you because you might be chasing that $50 million dream, but in reality, that's not what your picture of success really looked like. Your picture of success might be, you know, let's just say $2 million, but you want the wife that you know love you. You want to have the house and the kids. You know, you want to be there to watch your daughter grow, cheerlead, play basketball, softball. You want to see your son play football, basketball. Like that's what your picture of success looks like. And you can't get caught up trying to chase Troy dream because Troy wanted the 50 million and that's what Troy talked about and that's what made Troy happy. That's not what's gonna make Sean happy.
Exactly.
Right?
That's it. So you have to define that success for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta see guys on that early because you could spend from 20 to 30 chasing. I could spend 20 to 30 chasing your dream, get to 30 and realize that's not even what I wanted.
Yeah. You're not being true to yourself, and now you gotta go back to the drawing board and find out your identity, what you want.
Right.
Because you can rack up dollars doing something that you're not even
Passionate
about,
right.
And it's gonna fade away, and you're gonna find yourself right back at square one.
Right.
I always applaud some, the LeVar Balls, the Deion Sanders, and people like that who can, at some point both have the family, have the kids and stuff, and invest in their kids where your whole line can come up and get. I mean, now that right there, I would take a single million, but my bloodline can be successful if I can be there and be instrumental in their lives, so they can go beyond me. That's major. So I enjoy watching that.
And it's crazy. So now this is my last thought on that. Right, is it to me, my opinion. This is Sean's opinion, not Troy's opinion. To me, it can never be all about the money because the money can fade away. But that one thing that you just said, if you had the opportunity to have children, and even if you can't have children, if you have young kids, nieces, nephews, kids that you can mentor, adopt a child or whatever, that you can pour all of the good things of you into them, things last forever because then they're gonna pour that into the kids and the children that they know, and that keeps going.
That's legacy.
Generation after generation. Now you can say that money do the same thing, but the values and the lessons. Money doesn't teach you any value on the lessons. It's a tool to be used.
That's it.
To accomplish whatever it is that you want to, whether you want to eat or you want to buy a company, or you want to buy a house, or you want to buy a car, or you know what I mean, or you want to take a vacation. It's good for those things, but it doesn't teach you how to operate and treat people throughout life, and it doesn't teach you how to make it again. You can lose all of that money, but if you ain't got the right values instilled into you, you don't have the grit, the grind, the determination,
cultivate the right relationship.
Yeah, to be able to get you back in a position where you can get it all back. Right. And so to me, that's the true riches,
no doubt.
Is investing. And again, this is just my thoughts, my opinion. I don't have $50 million. Maybe if I had $50 million, I might say something a little different. I don't know. But that's how I feel. My thoughts, my opinion.
No doubt. I'm with you on it, man. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, we ain't got no questions or nothing, so I mean, it's gonna be a light little nightcap tonight.
That's
so
all it is, man.
We appreciate y'all tuning in as always, man. I hope y'all enjoying these conversations that me and Troy are having. Again, this is just a snippet of our real Well, these are real
Yeah, these conversations. This is what we do on and off camera.
Yeah, because we won't even talk to each other about this stuff. We'll just shoot a text like this, or we'll see something on Instagram or Facebook, send a video, and we got a running list of topics, and then we try not to talk about them until we get here in front of y'all. So these honestly is just our first off thoughts and opinions on the things that we talk about.
No doubt, and we would love to hear, you guys' opinion. And sometimes just by sharing your opinion or asking the right questions, it could get my way of thinking. Because I have my perspective, but
Right.
I'm not closed-minded, and I like to hear what other people think and other angles, or sometimes even just sharing your story. If you feel like just sharing your story on one of the topics that can help us better understand, and feel free. But we want to hear from you guys.
That's right. So again, I don't think we said it in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
share, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, because we back.
We back.
We back.
All right.
Thanks to President Trump. We back, right?
We're gonna leave that one alone until next week, man. Look, y'all stay tapped in with us.
Peace.
Peace.